Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dr. Shazetta. I hope you guys are doing well. Today is day 8 of my 10-day intentional living reset. And today I almost didn't record. Nothing happened. Nothing is wrong. I just honestly don't feel like it today. I don't feel particularly motivated. I feel a little bit tired in my body. Didn't feel like setting up a camera. Didn't feel like creating content. And then I realized that this too, right, is a part of the reset. My last 2 days have been amazing, right? Days 5, 6, and 7 were really good. And I got some creative work done, and really, like I told you all last night, took one new idea from just spur of the moment concept and concept papered it out and actually sent it out to a few folks to look at and review. And I think that helped me learn something about my creative flow and my creative rhythm. And it is that because my creativity can at times be rapid fire and so prolific, what I have to do is figure out the ways to build in recuperation time, that I have to honor my creativity, not just as an afterthought like I have for so long, but I have to honor it as the work that it is. I'm now beginning to understand more why artists refer to their art as work. This is my work. Why scholars refer to their writing or to their research or to their teaching as work. This is my work. And so because my creativity and my creative flow is indeed the work, right? Much of the work that my soul must have. I've never got into the habit of building in the recuperation time because I've never honored, right, how much it pulls out of me to be in a creative rhythm and to be in a creative flow, to put something out into the world that's not been released into the world before. And so today, I even last night, because I still had quite a bit of an adrenaline rush last night. I didn't sleep well last night, so I finally fell asleep maybe around close to midnight, and then my sleep was broken up throughout the night, and I woke up early this morning and got up because I had some things that I wanted to get done, but also because I just couldn't sleep anymore. And yeah, I've just been kind of today still thinking about some of the creative things, still excited about them. Some of those things that I talked through or thought through and worked through the last couple of days, but my mind is tired and needs a bit of a break. And so it brought to question, because here I am nearing right the end of this 10-day challenge. Today is day 8, and it is reminiscent of sometimes how I've gotten so far on creative projects and then left them undone, never to return to them again. And it is because this kind of creative fatigue creeps in, and either I can keep pushing it to the point that I begin to resent it, or I can honor what that feeling looks like and allow myself to recuperate before I go back to it. Let me also apologize for any background noise. I didn't put my microphone on today. The dog's moving around. And so the question that I had before myself today then was, did I really want to break the rhythm and not post anything today? Last night I did the live, but did I not want to post anything today and then feel as if I'd left another project almost finished, not completed? And what could I learn from that, right? So the question I had to ask myself was, what then does it look like for me to honor a commitment without abandoning myself in the process? And again, as I'm learning and thinking through my creative rhythms and what has my attention and how I treat my body and how I show up for myself, I think that's a large question for me. How do I honor the commitment without abandoning myself? Because what I've chosen time and time again over the years is certainly abandoning self, so that I could finish what I said I was going to finish, so that I could do what I said I was going to do, particularly for others. I never, that's not necessarily been the case for things that I've been doing for my own self, for my own joy, for my own sense of fulfillment. And so, there's a measure of discipline that I've tried to live most of my, professional and ministerial life about, is that, I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it at all costs, especially when it had to do with, or when it has had to do with other people. That if I say I'm going to be there, if I say I'm going to show up, if I say I'm going to get this, if I say I'm going to make this happen, then I'm going to make it happen for other people. But I've not really ever forced myself to do that for myself. And then there's the piece, the self-abandonment piece, right? I said I wasn't going to do it, so I have to force myself to do it, to perform at, what others might perceive to be 100%, no matter if it depletes me down to, depletes me by 100% and brings me down, right, to nothing. And so today, as I kind of sat with that, laid on the couch, because, the last couple of days I had to make myself sit down. Well, that wasn't necessarily the case today. Today, my body was like, yeah, girl, When I tried to think about something, heavy, it was like, yeah, no. And when I sat down, I found myself kind of, drifting off. So I've had more involuntary naps today. And so I know that my body and my mind is in a place where I just need to allow it to replenish itself. So, today's reset video and today's reset lesson is not about just aimlessly pushing through or pushing through just for the sake of it, but learning that showing up doesn't always have to look impressive, learning that showing up doesn't always have to look like perfection, learning that showing up and completing a thing or being faithful to something that you started doesn't mean that you have to abandon and sacrifice yourself and your well-being. And on day 8, that's a lesson I'm willing to take. It's a lesson I'm willing to learn. And it's a lesson that I'm going to keep in my pocket, right? To remind myself of it, because I used to, and then I'm going to go because I don't have a lot today. When I was in undergraduate school, I learned a really hard lesson. It doubled down in graduate school, that there would be some times when I would just be cramming, trying to do a pull all-nighter, and it would take me all night to write, what felt like a page or two. And then there will be other times when I would just say, you know what, scrap it and go to sleep and wake up the next morning rested and be able to knock out what had taken me hours in 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 15 minutes and just get it done without the pressure and struggle. And so those lessons that I learned then at some point went out the window, but I'm trying to reclaim it now, to set rhythms for myself and to embark upon larger projects, but also to build into that time and build into those projects, build into those creative explorations, time to rejuvenate, time to replenish, time to rest. Build that in, not as something I have to earn when I hit a milestone, but create systems and rhythms that are such that it's understood that when I need a break, that when I've put forth my best work for a full day or a period of time, that my brain deserves, right, rest. It deserves an opportunity to replenish. So I just wanted to hop on here because I think it's a worthwhile lesson to take away today. And I want it to be something that you all also take away, right? Because I think a lot, there's been so much talk over the last decade about burnout and about there's been an uptick, right, in folks who have been diagnosed with, anxiety and depression, who are navigating stress, and us medicating, having to medicate or be medicated in order to navigate through those things. And I'm all for therapy. I'm all for medication. Get what you need to get you where you need to be so that you can be the best version of yourself. And also, right, I think that it is worth us looking at our environments and looking at our circumstances and thinking about the ways in which we honor ourselves by building in systems and rhythms without negotiation, unapologetically, that honor the fullness of who we are. And the fullness of who we are deserves to rest. It's not something we have to earn. It's our birthright, right? It deserves to recuperate. I'm going to put out, I'm determined in this season, more of my creative self into the world. Not my creative self that shows up under the brands and names of other people, but more of my creative self that shows up as work that I've done for myself to showcase my brilliance. But as I do that, I imagine there will be a greater demand for more of my work, because I believe that my work is good. I know that I'm gifted. But 2 days or day and a half of creative thinking and creative work has just rendered me flat on my back on the couch today. And so making time for that and for me, it's another way of showing up for myself, man. So listen, I hope that if you've stuck around that you are being blessed by this series. If you have not already subscribed, I hope that you'll do so. If you haven't watched the first 7 videos of this series, last night was a live. I hope you'll go back and watch it. I received a call from Texas today from someone saying that they had been watching and that they were being blessed by the content. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. This is, for me, As I like to say, my little corner of the internet, you know, where I lean fully and intentionally to the fullness of who I am, and I do it unapologetically. This is Dr. Shazetta's The Well Life, where I am endeavoring not to just produce content so that people can say, oh, that was done well. No, I want to be well while I'm doing the work. And that is critical for me in this season. So thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I'm uploading new content. And if you'll hit that thumbs up and even drop a comment, it'll certainly help the algorithm as I seek to continue building this community. I love y'all, man. We'll talk real soon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 9. Bye-bye.